Hey everyone, it's me, RC. I actually got a new sponsor the other day, and we're getting ready to start our program, going through all the steps and things like that. And so, step one, of course, was I need to read the first 184 pages of the big book. I've done that multiple times, but it's always good to go back and reread those, just because it does remind you of times that you had forgotten about, times that you're reading someone else's story and you definitely relate to it. And I'm excited to go back and reread it again. And I do go to a meeting, twice a week where we do big book study. And it's nice to hear everybody else's perception of what's going on in their head with their story, because they may say something that just reminds me of my own. And so I really like going to those meetings just because it's different. It's someone else's story, but I can definitely relate to quite a bit of it. So we're getting ready to start our step work, and one of the two things is I had to do a 20 and 20. So the first 20 things is I had to write down instances where I was powerless over alcohol, where it kind of took over, and where I could not stop drinking, or I could not stop thinking about it, or I would think of scenarios to go get some, or I would mentally overthink a lot of situations where I could go get more. Whether it's going out to eat to a certain restaurant because you know that they're going to serve alcohol there, or if it's manipulating the situation just so that way you can drink while you're in that time. And then the second 20 is times where my life was unmanageable. What start fights, lying, trying to hide it, trying to cover up from it, problems that it's caused, whether it's financial, relationships, whatever. And so I have to do 20 of those as well. So it's going to be interesting. I actually thought about going and getting like a big notebook and, just kind of filling out this notebook of, different times that I can remember those things, because unfortunately for me, every single time I drank I was powerless. And every single time I drank, I was unmanageable. Like, those two things definitely happened every single time. And so it's hard to just sit down and write like 20 exact ones. I know some of them may be repetitive. Some of them may be, hand in hand with each other. Like, this happened because I was powerless, and then I became unmanageable. So I'm excited to start the step work, with my new sponsor, because it's good to get back to it again. It's good to start self-reflecting and going through this and reminding yourself of all the bad times and, when you don't want to go back to that, and writing down all these situations that, at the time they seemed reasonable, but a sober person looking in, they weren't really all that reasonable. They were quite illogical, really. This new sponsor, I like her because she also has family that has an addiction as well. And so she's actually going through her steps with Al-Anon right now. And I thought that was pretty interesting. She's not only an alcoholic, but she's also dealing with someone with that same problem, with that same addiction. And so now she's trying to figure out how she can deal with somebody with the same issue. And she's going through her Al-Anon steps. So I thought that was pretty interesting. She's kind of going through both programs to better herself. And you really have to applaud her for that, because she's really trying to better herself in every way, in every aspect of her life. So it'll be good. It'll be good to get back to it. It'll be good to get back in the steps. It'll be good to start going through my spiritual program again, because I fell off with that a lot. Wasn't continuing it, wasn't going to the meetings like I should have. And that really is the biggest thing that happens when people start to relapse, is they lose their spiritual program. They stop going to meetings, and they stop working their own program. So I'm excited to see how different it'll be this time. When you have the I should have known better kind of mentality. See if something else I can kind of uncover going through all these. And I'm really excited to get back to the service work too. I really like working with other people. I really like hearing their stories and hearing what they go through, just because, once again, it reminds me of my own. It reminds me of the times that I did the same thing, and that's what also keeps me sober too. So I hope everybody else is having a good week. I hope everyone else is getting excited for the holiday coming up. and I will talk to you later.